Stami's friend Shimada pulls a strand of someone's hair, leaving all the students shocked because the hair starts growing rapidly. The girl, terrified, tries to run away, but Shimada uses his long tentacles to pull her back in. Meanwhile, another girl throws a bottle of chemicals at Shimada's face, which causes him to lose control and start attacking everyone. Blood spills everywhere as chaos unfolds. Stami tries to escape, but Shimada chases her. Sinichi comes to save Stami and heads towards the art room. However, seeing the bodies everywhere, he begins to panic. He barely manages to calm himself when he spots Stami, who is about to be attacked by Shimada. Sinichi pushes her out of the way. Just then, Tamaya arrives holding a chemical bomb. She throws the bomb, but before it explodes, Sinichi grabs Stami and jumps out of the window. To find out more, let's delve into the detailed explanation of the film. But before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. At the beginning of the film, insect-like creatures are shown entering our world through the sea. These creatures, called parasites in the film, take over human hosts by eating their brains and gaining full control of their bodies. One such parasite enters the ear of a middle-aged man, consumes his brain, and takes complete control over him. Similarly, another parasite tries to enter the ear of a student named Sinichi, but fails due to his earphones. It then attempts to enter through his nose, but Sinichi scratches and throws it against the wall. However, the parasite attacks again, infects his hand, and merges into his body. Hearing the commotion, Sinichi's mother, Nobuko, checks on him but finds nothing unusual with his hand. She dismisses it as his imagination and asks him to go to bed. The next day, the old man who was overtaken by the parasite wakes up and, during breakfast, opens his enormous mouth to eat his wife. On the other hand, Sinichi remains unaffected mentally, but his right hand is no longer under his control. Strange things start happening, like his hand stretching unnaturally, throwing trash into the basket without looking, or touching his girlfriend without intending to. Unlike other parasites, the one in Sinichi has not killed anyone yet. At home, Sinichi tries to cut off his infected hand with a board cutter, but the parasite reveals itself through an eye in his palm. Transforming into a snake-like form, it frightens Sinichi and informs him that it is now a part of his body and will stay with him as long as they are both alive. With no other options, Sinichi befriends the parasite and names it Miji. Living with Sinichi, Miji starts learning everything about humans, such as swordsmanship, eating habits, archery, and even the Japanese language. Meanwhile, other parasites continue feasting on humans. One day, Miji senses another alien nearby and drags Sinichi to a restaurant. Entering through the back door, they witness an alien eating a human like an animal. Sinichi is horrified. The alien notices them and invites Sinichi to join in eating, but soon realizes the human host's brain is still intact, meaning the body has two minds. Miji suggests killing the host and taking control of the body, but the alien refuses, leading to an intense fight. Miji decapitates the alien, killing it, and Sinichi thanks him, expressing how much he appreciates Miji's companionship. Miji assures him that as long as they are together, he will protect him. The next day, Detective Hiroma arrives at the scene of a murder investigation. He quickly realizes that the killer is a cannibal, someone who eats human flesh. The next day at school, the principal introduces the students to a new teacher, Ryoko Tamiya, who, according to Miji, is also an alien. After class, Ryoko chats with Shinichi and reveals that she doesn't want to kill anyone. She invites him to meet her after school, and they meet at a zoo. There, Ryoko introduces Shinichi to two more aliens, Shimada, a high school student, and Mr. A, a police officer. Ryoko explains that she brought them to meet Shinichi because they need to learn more about humans in order to coexist. She emphasizes that the news of aliens killing humans is spreading fast in the media, which could soon create trouble for them. Therefore, they must change their way of consuming humans. During this discussion, Ryoko shares that due to her research on humans and her relationship with Mr. A, she is now pregnant with a human child. She asks Shinichi to help them live among humans, but he refuses. In response, Ryoko warns him that the entire student body is at her mercy, and if he doesn't help her, she will kill and eat them all. The next day, Shinichi's mother notices him being upset during a meal and asks him about it. Although he wants to share, he says nothing and storms off. Later, he talks to Miji in his room. On his way home from school, Shinichi encounters Mr. A, and Miji warns him that Mr. A intends to kill them. To avoid a fight, they flee, but Mr. A pursues them. A confrontation occurs, and during the fight, Shinichi stabs Mr. A with an iron rod, injuring him and fleeing the scene. At home, Shinichi feels immense guilt over killing someone, but Miji reassures him that the person had already been killed by an alien who had taken over their body. Meanwhile, Shinichi's mother, Nobuko, encounters a severely injured Mr. A on the road and tries to help him. At the same time, Miji senses an alien nearby and warns Shinichi. Shinichi hides in the kitchen with a knife. However, his mother, whose body has been taken over by an alien, returns home. Shinichi refuses to believe Miji and threatens to kill him if he doesn't stop his suspicions. Suddenly, Mr. A takes on a monstrous form using Nobuko's body and attacks Shinichi, severely injuring him before leaving. After Mr. A departs, Miji enters Shinichi's body to repair the damage. Shinichi remains unconscious for 2 days. When he wakes, Miji explains that he has healed him using his power, which was an experiment but a successful one. Miji also informs Shinichi that he now possesses some alien-like abilities and enhanced strength. Shinichi, enraged by the loss of his mother, goes to school and confronts Ryoko Tamiya, but she refuses to listen to him. In anger, Shinichi attacks her with a knife. Tamiya retaliates and leaves the scene. Detective Hirama finds Shinichi's fingerprints at the murder site and sets out to arrest him. Wandering the city, Shinichi stumbles upon a political rally where Takashi Hirakawa promises to eradicate all aliens from the city if he wins the election. Back home, Miji tells Shinichi that aliens aim to create a place on Earth where they can capture and eat humans peacefully, similar to how humans raise animals for consumption. Detective Hirama visits Shinichi's home to question him about Mr. A, but leaves when Shinichi denies knowing anything. At school, the principal discovers Ryoko Tamiya's pregnancy and grants her maternity leave. Ryoko informs Shinichi and Miji that Shimada will be keeping an eye on them in her absence. She mentions that Shimada has adapted well to the school environment. One day, Shimada is modeling in the art room while students sketch him. A classmate jokingly pulls his hair, which regenerates rapidly, exposing his alien nature. Shimada loses control, revealing his monstrous form, and begins attacking students. Miji alerts Shinichi, who rushes to save the students. Despite his fear and panic, Shinichi manages to calm himself and confronts Shimada, saving a classmate named Satomi. Tamiya arrives and, angered by Shimada's uncontrollable behavior, throws a chemical bomb into the room. Before the bomb explodes, Shinichi escapes with Satomi. After the blast, the police arrive and find an injured alien. Determined to eliminate Shimada, Shinichi uses a rod as a makeshift weapon to kill him. Later, Tamiya tells Shinichi that she is leaving temporarily until her child is born. She provides him with information about Mr. A's location. Shinichi follows Mr. A to a bridge. Before the fight, Miji informs Shinichi that he will be asleep for the next 4 hours and won't be able to help but transform Shinichi's hand into a blade for protection. During the fight, Mr. A uses Nobuko's voice to distract Shinichi and attacks him. However, Nobuko briefly regains control of her body and blocks the attack, saving her son. Enraged, Shinichi kills Mr. A. A few days later, Hirakawa wins the election and forms a secret task force called the Human Life Protection Team to deal with the alien threat. Officer Yamagishi meets Inspector Hirama and signs a confidential agreement to join the team. In a secret location, Tamiya and Hirakawa discuss an alien named Takuya, who has taken over a human host and aims to eradicate humanity. Meanwhile, Shinichi visits Satomi at the hospital, unaware that someone is taking their pictures.